we're having some more lot coming those days.
There's everybody. Okay. As Anita said, my name is Susan. I'm actually going to put this down in a minute and project my voice. So, because I'm going to be using both hands. The first thing I'm going to do is sit. Oh, that's much better. What I'd like for you to do is rise. And if you feel uncomfortable about doing anything because you think that you're going to have to do something that your body doesn't want to do, we can modify. We always modify. So, typically when I'm teaching a workshop, I will have people simply stand. This is very much like mountain pose in yoga. My feet are slightly further apart, however, and that's so that I have total balance with my hips. I've had a hip replacement, so my feet are now wider than they used to be to maintain and support the skeletal system and the muscular system. I might bring somebody up to where I had you before, just a simple stretch and a float down. So far, we're not doing anything of Dr. Bercelli's. This is my own, no. What I might have you do is come up on your toes. I have to be careful if there's nothing down there. Up on your toes and then come back down and come up and come back down. So what does this do for you as you're coming up and down? Any thoughts, any ideas, those of you who practice yoga?
Otherwise, you call me Stephen. I had the pleasure of teaching Kundalini Yoga here. This past year, I was teaching classes on a weekly basis for a while. I'm taking a short break right now. It's a wonderful place. And the exercises we're doing today can all be done separately, and they're more of a warm-up type thing. But they're often part of other kriyas as well. So, I mean, these are very common. You'll see them if you go to Kundalini Yoga class. Next, let's sit up tall and just rest your hands on your knees. Really try to straighten your spine. Imagine someone pulling a string at the top of your head and just kind of lifting yourself up. Kind of pull in your chin slightly, kind of lock it into place, your head and neck into place over your spine. Now with the inhale, lift both shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale, just let them drop. And just continue doing that. Inhale up, exhale, let them drop. Continue those shoulder shrugs. Don't try to control it when you're exhaling, just let it go. There's no need for you to carry the weight of the universe on your shoulders. Somebody else already has that job. Kar, tar. Sat, 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 kar. Exhale. Once more, inhale deep. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then rotate your wrists and your ankles, first in one direction, and then the other direction.
I'm an artist, and this is my rendition of Krishna and Radha, on handmade paper in India. One of the arts of India that I love, that I haven't seen anywhere in my travels in India, I saw outside the village here outside of Bangalore, and it is making columns, you know. And what it is, it's a meditative art. Women in India do this every morning. Even some of my friends here, well, not many of them, just maybe one, who's from Calcutta, from Calcutta. So she's still more, not as westernized as the Mumbai and Delhi people, you know. So yeah, and I love that because what they do is they go out there and they put all these dots out. Look at all those dots in a design, and then she connects all the dots as she's praying, you know, and asking for blessing. And so she does this, and it concentrates her, it focuses her energy, and it helps to manifest what she wants.
Shankaraya Shankaraya Mangalam
Shankari Manoharaya Shashwataya Mangalam
Shankari Manoharaya Shashwataya Mangalam
Shankaraya 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 Mangalam
Shankaraya 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 Mangalam
Shankari Manoharaya Shashwataya Mangalam
Shankari Manoharaya Shashwataya Mangalam
Gurudeva Mangalam Sadgurudeva Mangalam
Gurudeva Mangalam Sadgurudeva Mangalam
Gajananaya Mangalam Shadananaya Mangalam
Gajananaya Mangalam Shadananaya Mangalam
Gajananaya Mangalam Shadananaya Mangalam
Gajananaya Mangalam Shadananaya
Congratulations
Mangalam.
on this important milestone for devoting your time to spirituality and yoga. And this is something that, as we all acknowledge, it's wonderful. And wish you all the best as you continue this great work. So, with that intro, the spirituality that we have heard many wonderful spirituality-related discussions, and I thought that I could talk a little bit about Omkara or Pranava. In the SSLC class, I teach the small kids. I make it a point to, for the 5-year-olds or even the 10-year-old, they need to understand the fundamentals of our in the Hinduism, appropriately it is the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion, and Omkara is the basis of it all. Om Ityekaksharam Brahma. This is what is said in our Upanishads. Vedas, the divine knowledge given to the rishis thousands of years ago. There are many 4 Vedas, as you know, and Rig Veda is the oldest of them all, 8,000 years ago. In Rig Veda, one fundamental, I think I want to touch on some beautiful gems of our religion as I get into the Omkara. One of the greatest gems from Rig Veda is Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Very important, but many people fail to understand this simplicity in these 5 words. So I drive this point home to the children that meet in my class on Sunday mornings. And Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. 5 words. If we understand that, then lots of our perceived problems will go away, conflicts will go away, and even our misunderstanding about gods will go away. Ekam Sat. What is it? Ekam is one, Sat is truth. There is only one truth. Vipraha, that is the wise men, the knowledge, the learned ones. Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. They call that truth by various names, several names. In Hinduism, we of course are famous for calling gods by thousands, and in fact 330 million gods and so on in our scriptures. And there is no problem for a Hindu when we call the god Narayana, Shiva, Ganesha, Hanuman, Parvati, Saraswati. Absolutely no issue. We understand that these different facets of manifestations are different forms of that same one God. 3 stages and the ultimate reality, and the practice that is needed to get there. Those are some of the aspects, and with practice and focusing on saying Om and focusing on it and being silent, and then we end up with Shanti at the end. We say Shanti. Shanti, of course, the well-known translation is peace, but it really, again, like Omkara, it is a compound, or it has got multiple compound, words to it. Another time we can talk about it, but it is really the what do you call, the complete bliss. And Omkara leads you to Shanti. So with that, I'll finish, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Another big round of applause for sharing this. Thought that came to mind was really when we think of prana, we have spent this whole day at Pranayana. As I delved later on, first the name came that I should start this. We just started this. I had no idea as much as I even do now, which is still a fraction of things. But still, the prana, I wanted to just talk about the fact of prana. What is prana? Can anybody tell me what is prana? What is the word in Sanskrit? What does it mean? To you, what does it mean? We say prana in different languages, in South India, North India, anywhere. We say prana. When the prana leaves, we may use different words like prana, hoitu, prana, pochi, whatever. Prana has gone, prana gaya in Hindi, whatever it means. But we associate it with that life force energy, right? It is that life force energy. It is that vital energy that makes us tick day after day. It's what makes us get up in the morning, do what we must do through the day, and then go to bed in the evening, and be consistently in tune with everything that must be done. When we are in that state of being, that is when we really have prana. Otherwise, we can be alive, but still we may not have prana. There are chances of that happening. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yes?
Is prana the soul?
Prana is not the soul. The soul is the self. Atman. Right? Prana is the life force energy. Think of it as that spark. It is that spark that gives us the energy, that life force energy that gives us the willingness to do what we must do through the day. From morning to night, it exists with us. When that life force energy leaves us, say from the antakarana is where it leaves us from the top of the head. And this is what the scriptures say, right? That when it leaves, that is when we say the prana is gone. That is when we say the person is dead, no more, right? So one of the shlokas from the Prashnopanishad that came to mind, and this is Prashnopanishad talks about prana again, is this. Talks about that the fact that prana exists in all beings, whether they are human or animals, every being has this prana. So this is the shloka, and it says that without that prana, we are nothing. We are nobody. Once the prana leaves the body, what do we call it? It's a body. That's all we call it. There's no identity. There's nothing left to it. That is the beauty of prana. So I want to end this session also with this tribute to this prana that we all have, and the fact that we are here listening to this, and then we will end with the chant of Om. The last piece of silence is what Krish was mentioning, where one stays with the self. That is the self curving within itself is the way it is explained in the scriptures. That is why we maintain that silence even after finishing the Shanti, 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 and we leave the Om so that we don't take that breath right away and we stay with the silence so that helps us. With that, thank you all. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for coming today. We had a wonderful session with everybody staying all through the day, and I hope that you will continue to come here and enjoy the workshops, the classes. Speaking of yoga and meditation, next year, in fact, early next year, the first workshop will be on January 19th and 20th. And this is a workshop on Just Be. The title of the workshop is Just Be, which is what we want to be able to do, is just be as opposed to do. We have become a society of human doers, and so we are constantly doing things. So when we can just back off from all the doing, not all the time, but for short periods during the day, and we are able to take that rest and relaxation, then, only then, can we really be. And that is part of just being. So in that 2-day workshop, we will go through many techniques to actually start to teach some of the pranayams as well as some of the primordial sound meditation, which is a way to calm the mind and keep us away from this continuous persistent thinking that goes on all the time. So you're all welcome to do that. It will be 19th and 20th. We'll fix the date so far at least. So we'll let you know more through email. If you have not signed up for our emails and you're not getting the newsletters, please do talk to Taylor. Taylor is in the back and she's got the forms. So you can put down your email, give us your phone number. We'll make sure that you get information from here about the massage therapist. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and the as well as the henna person, some of the vendors. Everything came together very quickly, and I'm grateful that they were able to cooperate very soon. So thank you all. Have a wonderful.